11 adult-only cruise tips no one wants to talk about. Let's be honest, there are cruise realities adults need to know about, but nobody wants to discuss them. Not the cruise lines, not the travel agents, and definitely not your friends posting perfect sunset photos. Today we're pulling back the curtain on 11 uncomfortable truths that could save you from serious embarrassment, unexpected charges, or worse. If you want to cruise smarter, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's dive in. Number 1, the walls are paper thin and everyone can hear everything. Those cabin walls that look so solid, they're basically glorified cardboard designed to be lightweight. One former guest services manager admitted that noise complaints between cabins are the #1 issue after midnight, almost always about romantic activities. Here's what makes it worse. Sound travels through air ducts and connects neighboring cabins in ways you'd never expect. Former staff say they've heard complaints from passengers 3 cabins away from the noise source. The real problem? Most adults don't realize how much sound carries until it's too late. You're having a great time, feeling like you're in your own private space, and meanwhile your neighbors are texting each other about calling security. What happens if they complain? First, a courtesy call from guest services asking you to keep it down. Second complaint, security shows up at your door. Third complaint, potential removal at the next port with 0 refund. How to handle this smartly? If you're in a standard cabin, assume your neighbors can hear everything. Keep voices low, especially late at night. Turn on the TV or bathroom fan for white noise. If you're really concerned about privacy, book a suite with a buffer zone or a cabin at the end of a hallway where you only have neighbors on one side. Number 2, the hookup culture is real but dangerous. Ships are filled with adults on vacation, often solo, with alcohol flowing freely. One former bartender revealed that crew members have a term for it, ship romances, and they happen constantly. But former security officers warn that situations can turn problematic fast. Alcohol clouds judgment. People aren't always honest about their relationship status back home. And perhaps most importantly, if anything goes wrong, you're trapped on a ship with that person for another week. The real danger? Passengers who invite someone they just met back to their cabin and wake up to find valuables missing. Or worse, situations that cross lines of consent because both parties had too much to drink. Security officers say they've had to relocate passengers to different cabins mid-cruise multiple times per sailing due to situations that started as innocent flirting and ended badly. The smart approach? If you're single and looking to meet people, stick to public spaces. Don't share your cabin number immediately. Tell a friend or family member if you're meeting someone. And set a personal alcohol limit that keeps you clear-headed. The ship can be romantic, but it should never be reckless. But wait until you hear number 3. The combination of alcohol and certain medications can be deadly. Former medical staff reveal that one of the most common emergencies they see is middle-aged men who took medication for romantic performance, mixed it with alcohol, and experienced dangerous drops in blood pressure. Here's the uncomfortable science. Ships are considered high altitude for medical purposes because of air pressure changes. Add alcohol, which also lowers blood pressure, plus medications that do the same thing, and you've created a perfect storm. One cruise ship doctor recalled treating 2 to 3 cases per week of men who needed emergency intervention because of this exact combination. The worst part? You're stuck explaining this to medical staff, your travel companion, and potentially dealing with a multi-$1,000 medical bill because this isn't covered by insurance as it's considered preventable. The charges are brutal. A medical center visit starts at $150 just to be seen. Emergency treatment runs $500 to $2,000. Airlifted off the ship? That's $25,000 to $50,000 out of pocket. How to stay safe? If you're taking any prescription medication, talk to your doctor before the cruise about potential interactions with alcohol. Read the warnings on your medication bottles. Stay hydrated. And honestly, know your limits. The ocean will still be romantic tomorrow. Number 4, adult-only areas aren't actually adult-only. You paid extra for that adults-only pool or serenity deck thinking you'd escape the splash zones and screaming kids. Big mistake. Former crew members reveal these areas are rarely enforced the way the brochures promise. Here's what actually happens. The rules say 18 and over only, but one former deck supervisor admitted they were told never to confront guests about bringing kids unless another passenger complained first. Why? Because the cruise line doesn't want to create awkward confrontations that could lead to bad reviews. So what you end up with is this. A family brings their 14-year-old to the adult pool. Nobody says anything. Other families see this and think it's fine. Within an hour, your peaceful adult retreat has turned into another family pool. One frequent cruiser shared that she complained 4 times on a single cruise about kids in the adults-only hot tub, and each time staff politely asked the family to leave, only for different families to show up an hour later. So how do you actually get what you paid for? First, choose cruise lines known for strict enforcement. Viking and Virgin Voyages have age-verified wristbands that make it impossible to sneak into adult areas. Second, go early morning or during port days when most families are off the ship. Third, if you see violations, report them immediately to guest services, not just deck staff. Guest services keeps records, and repeat complaints can trigger stricter monitoring. And finally, book an actual adults-only cruise if this is a deal-breaker for you. It's the only guaranteed solution. Now here's number 5. The combination of motion sickness and alcohol is something nobody warns you about. Former medical staff say this is one of the most common and avoidable problems, especially on rough sea days. You're feeling queasy, so you head to the bar thinking a drink will help. Big mistake. Alcohol dehydrates you, making seasickness exponentially worse. It also affects your inner ear, already struggling with the ship's motion. One passenger spent 3 full days confined to her cabin because she tried to push through seasickness with margaritas. She missed every port and ended up with a $400 medical bill for IV fluids. Here's what works. Stop drinking alcohol if you feel seasick. Drink water or ginger ale. Take medication before symptoms get bad. Stay midship where motion is least noticeable. Get fresh air and focus on the horizon. Insider tip. Ask your cabin steward for ginger candies. They keep them stocked specifically for this. Wait until you hear about number 6. Hot tubs on cruise ships are not as clean as you think. Former maintenance crew reveal that while hot tubs are chemically treated, the volume of people using them, combined with late-night adult behavior, makes them a hygiene nightmare. Those jets hide bacteria chemicals can't always reach. The water temperature breeds germs. And after a few drinks, not everyone follows proper etiquette. One former crew member shared they've had to drain and deep clean hot tubs mid-cruise because of complaints about visible debris or suspicious activity caught on cameras. The health risks? Hot tub rash, ear infections, and urinary tract infections are common medical complaints. The solution? Use hot tubs during daylight when they're freshly serviced. Shower immediately after. Never put your head underwater. If the water looks cloudy or you see debris, skip it and report it to guest services. Number 7, the dress code violations that get you turned away from dinner. Cruise lines have strict formal night codes, and former dining staff turn away dozens of passengers every formal evening. The rules say formal night means suits or dress pants for men, cocktail dresses for women, but passengers show up in khakis and polos, or worse, shorts and flip-flops. One former maitre d' was instructed to turn away anyone not meeting the code. No exceptions. This created nightly confrontations where adults would argue and threaten bad reviews. Here's the secret. If you're slightly underdressed but close to the code, they'll usually seat you in a back corner. It's their compromise. How to handle this? Pack at least 2 formal outfits. If you don't want to dress up, make reservations at the buffet or casual venues on formal nights. Or book cruise lines like Norwegian with no dress requirements. But nothing compares to number 8. You're winning at blackjack when suddenly your cruise card gets declined. You haven't hit your credit limit, so what's happening? Former casino staff reveal that ships track your gambling in real time, and it's not just about money, it's about behavior. Every transaction is monitored by pit bosses and a computer system. If you bet erratically, drink heavily, or your losses exceed certain thresholds too quickly, the system flags your account. Your cruise card gets temporarily restricted for casino use. One former pit boss admitted they were instructed to watch for problem gambling and had authority to cut people off proactively. Your card simply stops working. You have to visit guest services where they'll give you a firm conversation about responsible gaming. In extreme cases, they'll restrict your casino access for the entire cruise. The smart play: set a daily casino budget before you board. Use cash instead of your cruise card so you have a physical limit. Take breaks every hour, and never chase losses with alcohol in your system. Number 9, the medical marijuana trap that's gotten passengers arrested. You might live where marijuana is legal. You might have a prescription, but the moment you bring it on a cruise ship, you've broken federal maritime law. Former security officers say they've watched passengers get arrested at the gangway without warning. Here's why this is dangerous. Cruise ships operate under federal jurisdiction, not state law. Security uses drug-sniffing dogs at embarkation. One former security officer revealed they caught 2 to 3 passengers per cruise trying to bring marijuana on board. If caught boarding, you're denied entry and lose every penny. No refund. If caught during the cruise, you're confined to your cabin, removed at the next port, and potentially handed to local authorities. One passenger spent 2 nights in a Jamaican jail and hired a $5,000 attorney to avoid prosecution. His cruise was over, his money gone, and he nearly got a criminal record. The bottom line? Don't bring it. Not in edibles, not in vapes, not in prescription bottles. If you're using marijuana medically, talk to your doctor about legal alternatives for cruise travel. Number 10, the hidden cameras and where they are. You assume your cabin is completely private, and it mostly is. There are no cameras inside your cabin. That's illegal. But there are cameras everywhere else. Hallways, elevators, pool decks, stairwells, bars, and yes, pointed at your cabin door. One former security officer explained they can see exactly when you leave, when you return, and who you bring back. They've used this footage to investigate theft, disputes, or verify alibis. But here's the uncomfortable part. Former staff admit they've seen things on hallway cameras that passengers thought were private moments. Couples being intimate outside their cabin, physical arguments, extramarital situations. This matters because if there's ever a dispute or accusation, the cruise line has footage. The lesson? Assume you're always being recorded outside your cabin. Keep private moments actually private. Treat hallways and elevators like the monitored areas they are. And finally, number 11, the thing that ruins more adult cruises than anything else. The expectation that your relationship problems will magically fix themselves at sea. Former crew say this is the saddest pattern they see. A couple books a romantic getaway thinking ocean views will reignite their connection. Instead, they spend the cruise arguing in public, drinking separately at different bars, or sitting in tense silence at dinner. One former bartender could spot these couples by night 2. They'd sit at opposite ends of the bar, order drinks without speaking, and scroll through phones for hours. By day 5, one would be confiding about divorce. Here's the truth. A cruise doesn't fix relationships. It amplifies whatever's already there. If you're happy together, you'll have an amazing time. If you're struggling, being trapped on a ship intensifies every unresolved issue. Former guest services staff recall couples demanding separate cabins mid-cruise, nearly impossible to arrange, and costing a fortune. The real advice? If your relationship is in trouble, address it before booking. Talk to a counselor, have honest conversations. A cruise can celebrate a strong relationship, but it's a terrible place to save a failing one. The ocean is beautiful, but it's not a miracle worker. So there you have it. 11 uncomfortable truths about adult cruising nobody wants to discuss, but everybody needs to know. These aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to help you cruise smarter and avoid common pitfalls. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more insider cruise tips. Drop a comment below with Cruise Smart and tell me which of these surprised you the most. Now you're ready to cruise like an insider. Safe travels and smooth seas.